Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu. Welcome back, class 8th, to your online biology class. Now I'm starting with the annual course today. Those students who are not paying attention to any of the lessons or any of the instructions that are given, please, it is high time that you start taking interest in your studies, because this is the last attempt by you to make any effort and do something for yourself. Is that clear? All of you have the capability to do it, and all of you can, of course, do it, inshallah. Please try hard and try to come out with flying colors. I beg your pardon. Is it clear? So I'm starting with nervous system today. How much do you know about this system? You have studied so many things about it, or so many times you have come across this term nervous system. What strikes your mind is the term neuron, isn't it? So before that, what is all this system about? There are so many activities that you are doing in your everyday life, whether you are carrying anything, you're flexing your arm, you're writing anything, or whatsoever, you are riding a bicycle, or you're bending down or shrugging your shoulders. Any activity that you are doing, from very small activities to big ones, what is it that is responsible for it? Which system is responsible for this? It is the nervous system of the body. That is, the nervous system is a system which is responsible for carrying out each and every activity of your body, whether be it your heartbeat, whether be it your respiratory, everything. That is, you receive that particular message from the brain, and then only things happen. Is it clear? So what is the nervous system? I am saying that is what the system is about. The nervous system is a system in the body which sends signals around the body. It lets people and animals respond to what is around them. Whatever is around them, whatever activity is happening inside them, or whatever physical activity that you are indulging in, or whatever internal activities, whichever internal activities are going on in your body, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system both are coordinating with each other, and both are carrying out all the processes, all the activities, all the functions of the body. So, in short, it is a system which coordinates, means working in hand together so that a particular activity can take place. Coordination means to work together to make a particular thing happen. And this happens through a complex system of nerves that carry messages to and from the brain, and of course the spinal cord. Is that clear? So we have the central nervous system, which consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. And it is present in most animals. And the brain has billions of nerve cells to help think, walk, and breathe. Billions. Can you imagine the number? It is billions. We should thank God for each and everything, each and every activity, each and every function which is being imparted by the different organs of our body. And that is made possible by the creation of Allah, the various cells, various organs, various tissues working together in order to make that activity occur efficiently. Why do we need the nervous system? It tells us about our surroundings and the changes occurring there. And it does this with the help of the sense organs. So our nervous system consists of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. Is that clear? So this is the network of the system, that is the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system, of course, the purple, the brain, the spinal cord, and both are making up the central nervous system. And what about the peripheral nervous system? That is made up by the network of the light brown nerves that you can see. Is it clear? We will study this in detail. Now, why we need a central nervous system? So I have told you why do we need the nervous system. That is, it does this, whatever changes that are occurring around the environment, it does this with the help of the various sense organs. Sense organs, that is the ear, eyes, nose, tongue, and your skin. It tells us, these sense organs help us in doing so, making aware of the surrounding, whatever changes that are occurring in our surrounding. Then it helps us think, learn, and remember. All these activities are, of course, being done by with the help of the nervous system only. So apart from this, what else is there? That is, it controls all voluntary activities like holding a pen while writing, or rubbing anything, cooking anything. Everything is through brain. All the activities, that is sitting, standing, everything is controlled by the nervous system only. And it even controls and regulates involuntary activities. Involuntary means the activities which are not under our control, like breathing, respiration, and heartbeat. All these activities occur just because of the nervous system only. The control is in the hands of the, or control is in the hands of the nervous system only. Is it clear? Then what all make up the nervous system? Like we all know what is the cell. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. As we start building a house, then what happens? The first thing that we start with is a single brick. Similarly, a life started as a single cell, and then we have become multicellular. And this multicellular, multi-celled means many cells are joined together to form tissues, and tissues are joined together to form organs. Similarly, nervous system is made up of neurons or nerve cells. So what is a neuron? I've just told you it is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Is that clear? The whole of the structure of the nervous system, whether it is the brain, whether it is the spinal cord or the nerves, they are made up of neurons only. Is that clear? The whole structure of the nervous system and functional unit, the functioning of these neurons determine the activity of the nervous system. That is why it is called the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Now you can see in this diagram that it is made up of three parts, three basic parts. That is the cytone or the cell body. You can write it over here. This is the cytone. Is it clear? This is known as the cytone or the cell body, and dendrons and dendrites. Then this is the axon. This one of the extension of the cell body only. Is that clear? That is the axon. And the dendrons are the branches. Like you can see these branches or the projections that are there. These are known as the dendrons and dendrites. Is that clear? Dendron, the bigger one, and dendrites, and they branch further. Is that clear? Now you can even see that this is covered with a sheath, with a protective sheath, blue color sheath. You can see this is the myelin sheath. Is that clear? This is called the myelin sheath. Now the cytone consists of what? You can see it consists of a nucleus and the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus, and the red color part, that is the cytoplasm. Then a single long and cylindrical structure called the axon arises from the cytone. I have just told you, and it is covered with a protective covering which is called the myelin sheath. Now this end of the axon, each branch to form terminal branches. You can see axon terminals, right? An end of the terminal branch has a bulb-like structure which is called as the synaptic knob. The labeling is not given, you can write. This is synaptic knob. If writing is not clear, the diagram is of course given in your book. Is it clear? The short cytoplasmic extension of the cytone are called dendrons. These extensions you can see over here, all these extensions I just told you, and they divide further into thinner extension, thinner branches. They are known as dendrites. Is that clear? Now what do these neurons do? They transmit messages from the brain and spinal cord to the different organs and vice versa. That is, they do what? They are transmitting the messages. So the neurons transmit messages from the brain and spinal cord to the different organs, and from the different organs to back to the brain and the spinal cord. Is that clear? Then they transmit these messages in the form of electric signals, which are known as nerve impulses. Is that clear? All these messages which are transmitted via the brain or the spinal cord to the different organs, or from the different organs to the brain and spinal cord, all are done with the help of nerve impulse, which we will study in detail in this chapter. Is that clear? So what is a synapse? After studying about the nerve impulse, I will tell you about the synapse also. So over here you can see how these signals or these messages are transmitted from the organs to the brain or spinal cord, and from the brain or spinal cord to the organs, and this is true in the form of messages in the form of electrical signals called nerve impulses. Is it clear? So here you can see the synapse. What is a synapse? Actually, the dendrites of a neuron lie very close to the terminal branches of the axon of another neuron, and actually they are not touching each other and they're not joining to each other. Is that clear? There is a small gap which you can see in the form of synaptic cleft over here. The presynaptic is the branches, that is the terminal branches of the axon of another that is postsynaptic, and the dendrites of a neuron, the presynaptic. So you can see there is a cleft, and this is how the synapse happen. So this is the diagram of the synapse. That is, you can see they are not touching each other, they are just coming close to each other. Is that clear? And this is called the synapse, and this is done between what? That is the dendrites of a neurons and the terminal branches of the axon of another neuron. So this is the neuron number 1 and this is neuron number 2. That is dendrites of one neuron and the terminal branches of the axon of the another neuron. Is it clear? So what do they do? So the message, whatever message that I had shown you in the form of nerve impulse, in the form of electrical signals from the axon of one neuron, is transmitted to the dendrite of another neuron. They are not touching each other. You can see there is a space, synaptic cleft, which I had shown you in the earlier diagram. It is not they are not touching each other, and this nerve impulse is passing in the form of an electrical signal. Is that clear? Shown you in the video, in the picture just now. Is that clear? And this is how the message from the axon of one neuron is transmitted to the dendron of another neuron through the synapse. And the nerve impulses travel in one direction only. If it will travel in this direction, it will never be in the opposite direction. Is that clear? That is from the dendrites of a neuron to the axon terminals of another neuron, terminal branches of the axon of another neuron. So this is how the synapse takes place. Now let me tell you once more about the synapse. You can see over here, this is a much better diagram. That is the point at which the nerve impulse passes from one another is the synapse. You can see over here, that is dendrites of one neuron, over here the dendrites and the axon terminal of other neuron. They are not touching each other, but they are just coming close to each other. Is that clear? This is how the synapse takes place. And what is a nerve? A bundle of nerve fibers, that is the axons. Is that clear? You can see these axons. These are the nerve fibers enclosed in a medullary sheath. This is the medullary sheath. This is called a nerve. What is the function of the medullary sheath? It acts as an insulating cover. Insulator means which cannot allow the passage of heat or electricity. Is that here we are talking about the electricity. So it prevents the mixing. So insulating it from what? So what is the myelin sheath? It is an insulating layer or sheath that protects that forms around the nerves. That is the nerves which are present in the brain and the spinal cord. And this is made of protein and fatty substances. And it is called an insulating sheath just because it allows electrical impulses to transmit quickly and efficiently along the nerve cells. Is that clear? And how is it insulating it? That is, these are prevented, these nerve impulses that are being generated or through which the messages are being transmitted, they are not mixed up. That is why one nerve is just carrying a single nerve impulse and insulated from mixing up with the other messages which are coming, or nerve impulses which are coming. Is that clear? There are three types of nerves: sensory, motor, and mixed. So these are sensory, motor, and mixed. So what are the sensory nerves? That is the afferent nerves or the sensory nerve. They are carrying messages from the receptors, that is from the sense organs. Now the receptors are what? They are special cells that are contained in the sense organs. So receptors to the central nervous system, that is to the brain or to the spinal cord. Is that clear? Then efferent are what? They carry impulses from the brain or spinal cord to the muscles or glands, that is efferent or the motor nerves. They are composed of motor nerve fibers. They are carrying impulses from the central nervous system, that is from the brain or spinal cord, to the muscles or glands. Is that clear? And these mixed nerves are what? They are composed of both motor and sensory nerve fiber. The nerves that go to the brain are mixed nerves. Is it clear? So afferent or the sensory nerve, then the efferent or the motor nerves, and the mixed nerves, which are consisting of both the sensory and motor nerve fibers. Then before studying about other details of the system, let's study some of the terms related to the nervous system. So what is a stimulus, or plural is also known as stimuli? Is that clear? Stimulus is singular. So any detectable, that is you can make out change in the surrounding environment, is called a stimulus. And it does influences the living organism. It influences. For example, if you see something, you react. If there is a light coming towards you, your bright light or darkness, you react to that particular stimulus. So light is the stimulus. Then similarly, if you smell something, you react accordingly. And similarly, the taste, then the sound, and if you feel something, you react to them. It influences. So they are detectable change, whether it is in the form of sound, taste, or vision, anything, then they are detectable and they are called as stimulus. And what is the response? Now you can see here a dog sees a piece of meat. How does it respond? So the detectable change is both the sight of the meat piece and the smell of it are the stimuli. The activity or movement of the body in response to a stimulus is called the response. You can see the movement in response to this particular stimulus. So that is the dog's mouth starts watering. So that is the response. I've just told you another term, that is impulse. I've told you earlier also. So what is an impulse? An electrical signal that travels along the length of a nerve is called an impulse. And this is also called as action potential, and it transmits information. Then receptors also, I've just told you, they are present in the various sense organs. These are the cell or tissue that receive and detect a particular stimulus, and all sense organs contain receptors. Is that clear? And these receptors do what? They initiate the transmission of a nerve impulse via the sensory nerve. I told you about the sensory nerve or the afferent nerves. That is, they carry impulses from the sense organ to the brain or the spinal cord, and So you can see that any change to the environment will be detected by receptors found in the sensory gland or organs. These are the different receptors of touch, taste, and similarly vision and hearing. They are different receptors. Is that clear? And then what are effectors? Then organ that produces a suitable response on receiving an impulse from the brain or the spinal cord, that is called an effector, and that the muscles and glands are effectors. So you can see that the receptor send a message to the effector which alters the body's response, that is, which changes the body's response and return it back to the normal. Is that clear? Both the glands and the muscular contraction, that is, if a hand has to move or not, we will be receiving, if you suppose you have to clasp something or anything, you touch, you receive the message from where? From the receptors. They go to the effector, and that is how you start. Like when you clasp a pencil and you have to write something, then where is the message coming from? From the receptors. As soon as you hold a pencil, the receptor of touch receives that impulse, and that impulse is carried on to the corresponding muscle, and then you start writing later on. Is that clear? So let us understand with the help of an example. That is, when you touch a hot utensil, immediately move away your hand, isn't it? So what is it? Heat is the stimulus. That is, you receive the stimulus of heat on touching a hot object. What happened? These receptors are present in the skin, and they receive the heat stimulus, and the electrical signal that this is taken from the sensory neuron. Is that clear? From the skin cell to the brain through the nerves, that is the sensory nerve. This is the impulse. Is that clear? And the brain needs the signal and sends a command to the muscles of the hand, and the muscles of the hand denote the effector. Is that clear? These are present in the arm, and we move the hand away immediately. This is the response. We'll study in detail about this. Is that clear? We'll carry on with the exercise and the rest of the chapter in the next session. Allah Hafiz.